board, I wouldn't have them be different categories at all. Alright, time starts at 3, 2, 1, go! I have kind of been doing dry runs of this, just in my own time, a lot lately. Yes, if you heard that, that is right. Blowing into the PS5 microphone is one of the inputs in this game. Cynically, you could call this a tech demo for the PS5 and the DualSense controller. I really think this game is a lot more than that. That looks like it's a little cutscene. There actually is an input there. It's swiping up on the touchpad. Very crucial that Astro glides up ever so slightly when you do the jetpack hover thing. A lot of the movement tech in the game is based on that. There is quite a bit of cool tech. Well, I don't know about quite a bit, but the movement itself is very, very good. Any% does have some movement tech that's unique to it, but honestly, I think I like the other categories better, where you collect more shit. Just so PlayStation Labo doesn't look so bare. Well, we'll start with any%. Watch me fail this jump 10 times. Or not. And you're supposed to spin punch that flower to raise a platform, but the cloud has collision, so we can forget all about that idea. That was almost very dangerous. You're supposed to ride that cloud over, but you can just barely make it without doing that. You don't have to kill those guys, and you certainly don't have to kill this guy. Doesn't really waste any time to kill the first two. There is a one cycle coming up that is not as easy for me as it probably should be. Once I get an established PB, and, you know, I'm running against splits, I could see resetting to this. But I got it right, so yay! Now, the first of our power suits. This one is the rolling ball. And of course, Astro has to give us a cute little wave. You control this ball by the touchpad. You move faster, but it's not as easy to control if you use both thumbs. Fortunately, in any%, you don't really need to control it all that much. All you need is the speed. In the other categories where you gather some or all of the collectibles, you would need to control it. It's not that hard, you just can't go quite as fast. I hope that doesn't sound obnoxious on my stream mic. Pretty clean so far. I thought at first you would want to specifically avoid getting collectibles in any percent. Since that's not quite right there. Since it triggers the cutscene of them being added to PlayStation Labo, and it does do that, but you can always just skip that cutscene. You don't have to wait for anything to play out. Little... yeah, like I'm going for that puzzle piece there. A little bit of sneaky pathing there. You can call it a skip if you want. It's just being smart about where you're going. This is a little tough to do fast. That is okay. Yeah, and it doesn't matter if you collect the puzzle piece. You just skip the cutscene of it being added to the mural anyway. Oh, I spelled it Astor's Speedy Room in my title. Like Dexter's stepdaughter in Dexter. I'm so glad I finished that show before it was pulled from Netflix. I only finished it with a few days to go. Actually, split should be on the fade out. Maybe just skip it. Now, there's no rule about which order you have to do the worlds in, and honestly, I think I'm doing them in reverse order of how hard they are, which maybe it's intentional, but it corresponds to the order of the artifacts PlayStation 1, 2, 3, and 4. There's some artifacts in this level that are just obnoxious. Well, artifacts and puzzle pieces. I think I have to get this puzzle piece. It's certainly possible to get through without grabbing it, but it might take more effort than just grabbing it. Probably a slow way of killing that green slime dude, but it's the safest way for sure. Oh, I'm gonna get hit. No, I didn't get hit. Oh, that was so close. Getting all these collectibles. Good thing it's any percent and not low percent. There's really only one puzzle piece you have to get. It's in Cooling Springs. It's one of the springy levels. It's directly on your path. You have no choice but to land right where the puzzle piece is. If anyone ever wanted to do like low percent, I think that could absolutely be a... Well, I mean, it probably wouldn't be a track category because it wouldn't be any different from any percent in terms of the route. But it's like a challenge, I guess. We have our rocket pod. This thing is a little obnoxious to steer. Past the puzzle piece down there. And the one to the left there. And the one down there. So glad I remember where they all are. I was honestly a little bit worried about that when I first started learning to run this game. I was like, oh, definitely any percent I'm gonna run since it's so comfy and short, but like I said, I like the other categories better where you fill PlayStation Labo a little bit fuller, so it's good to remember where stuff is. Yeah, there are a few levels, including this one, where you have to double back to get all the collectibles. And if you run forward while shooting the gun here, you can just run past the initial spawn of some of the enemies the game expects you to shoot with the machine gun. That's actually what this weapon is called in the trophies, the machine gun. Doesn't really resemble any machine gun I've ever seen, but that's okay. And Reki doesn't take out the yellow enemies there. I managed to do that a couple of times practicing. It seems risky to me, and it saves like a quarter of a second. Maybe a second, but still scarcely worth it. We light the fuse with our jetpack exhaust, or whatever this is. So far, so good. Yeah, this is a level I really have a hell of a time getting all the collectibles in without dying. Getting to bypass them. Hey, I'll take it every once in a while. That's the first step. Pretty bad one. Oh! Oh! That was so close. Those guys shoot cannonballs. The cannonballs don't themselves hurt you, but they can knock you into things that do. If you are right in the middle, you can go straight up through this, and I would imagine that's what the World Reki run does, but I'm not quite there yet. I have done it a couple of times, but not to the point of consistency. Ignite the bomb on that side. Need to bait the laser shots. That fire, man, it stays forever and a day. Oh, come on! I never do the left side first. This is so weird. Alright. That was terrible. Alright. Yeah, the any percent record for this game is already pretty optimized. The high 26 minute. And I believe it is deathless. It does some movement tech that I'm not quite able to do just yet. Well, we'll see if we can get there. I thought about doing splits for each sub-level too, but nah. It would mean a lot of splitting while I'm in the middle of action, because there's no break in the action, and that's kind of a nah. I don't like that setup. Okay. There's the puzzle piece you have to get. I don't see any way you can manage to not... Don't do that. Or you can manage to not grab that puzzle piece. Yes! Nice. That skips a cycle. This level right here, Frigid Flows, is kind of my best evidence for how incredible this game is. Because this game is a platformer with ice physics that are actually good. That's how amazing this game is. It made ice physics in a platformer fun. You know, forget all about the PlayStation nostalgia. I mean, don't forget about it, but... ice physics that are fun! That is a damn achievement. Go away. Go away, no one likes you. And that's... Yeah, Astro has 2 idle animations. That's one of them, where he'll just look at the camera and give a cute little wave. And the other is he'll... Well, I guess he has more than 2. He has several of the second kind I was going to describe, which is him pulling out a PlayStation accessory and playing with it a little. He can also fall asleep. The one time I do a big jump. So the way Astro aims in the springy suit is determined by how you hold the, by the motion controls in the DualSense controller. And you activate the springs by hitting the trigger buttons. I believe only one is needed, but I've kind of been in the habit of using both at the same time. They're just a little bit ahead of schedule. Yeah, damn, 26 minutes. I'm not even going to be out of GPU jungle in 26 minutes. I don't think. And my headphones just came unplugged. That's great. No, not skipping. Fuck. I, of course, came unplugged. I mean, my foot knocked them loose. It's not the machinery's fault. It's the screw loose behind it. Yeah, there must be some movement tricks I'm not aware of, because I'm gonna be like 5 minutes off Reki, and I've only died twice. I've watched other runs, not super thoroughly, but I have. I think you can make this without throwing the thing, but if you can, it's very tight. You're supposed to run in, trigger this thing, and run out, but if you run and keep running, there's a safe spot on the left side of that little tunnel. Now the monkey suit! Well, that was cool. I have no idea how I did that. Nah, it is possible to reach the higher rope on one swing. Oh, bad rockers. This is probably the hardest level. Not that it's hard at all. This is obviously not a difficult game. But you know, that's alright. There's a time and a place for beating your head against the wall and, oh my god, how am I ever gonna beat this boss or this level? And there's a time and a place for just fun games that make you happy. Yeah, there's probably some faster way of doing that. These two guys are jerks. Bow and arrow. This is slow. I think you're expected to take some of these enemies out. Well, you're definitely expected to take them out. You can just run through them, and actually, if you're within a certain distance of where they should spawn, they won't spawn until you pass that distance. The second and third shots on this boss, he gets a little swirly. Can't get hit by the bird. Alright, this is a little tricky, but not that bad. Yeah, you can beat this cycle. It's just extremely hard. Oh. Well, that ain't good. Owie! Yeah, definitely not beating the cycle this time. Monkey suit hurt his bottom. Ideally, you don't want to have to wait there, but it's hard not to. Ah, I missed the cycle. I think I'm just barely gonna be under Roreki time for the whole game, getting out of GPU jungle. Roreki for the whole game is like 2650 something. Yeah, look like bare PlayStation Labo look. So sad. I've never quite timed out the final fight, but it is relatively lengthy. So this probably won't be sub 30 minutes. But it's a start. I've also died in fabulously stupid ways. On the 94 throwback level. That would certainly keep it from being sub 30 as well. Start that PS1 up. I never had a PS1. I knew some people who did, though. I was a Nintendo kid at that time. Yeah, like, right there might have been one of my fabulously... Oh my goodness! I fell in the hole in the disc! That is a new one. That is absolutely a new one. I was gonna say, getting hit by the spiky dudes is one of my fabulously stupid ways to die there. Also, falling between these memory cards? Done that too. I did not know the hole in the disc was even big enough for you to fall in. I did it twice! How did I do it twice? Oh my goodness! I'm pretty sure you need to kill those spiky dudes for the next segment, the next section of platforming to spawn in. This guy's a jerk. Alright. And you can take 2 hits in the final boss fight. Evidenced by the 2 blue carts trailing around Astro. I really don't want to take any hits in the first phase. I mean, I don't want to take any hits, of course, at all. But the first phase, it should be pretty easy to not get hit. It's a little bit tougher in the second phase. It's still perfectly doable, mind. I got here in my first playthrough, you know, it probably took me 10 tries to defeat this segment because I was just trying to attack it directly. The T-Rex. And I was like, oh my god, how do you defeat this thing? Until I remembered it's a platformer, not a combat game. Astro thinks he's done. He's not quite done. Yeah. T-Rex 2.0 has eyeball lasers. And whatever this is. Best way I've seen to avoid it is to run on the ground a little bit and then do jetpack after a few seconds. Next is little bots. Yeah, the first version of the T-Rex shot out PS1 discs. This one shoots out... I can't tell if those are PS2 or PS3. Oh, that's a hit. That's not great. But it shouldn't really matter. The eyeball laser will take out the droids as well. And I need to all be dead here for the next phase to spawn in, which is gonna blow up the ground and there's gonna be a PlayStation trophy. It's possible to do this too fast. If you throw it at its eye too fast, it won't work. It won't stun him, and you'll have to do another cycle with the eyeball laser. One final cycle here. Just a few quick eyeball lasers, and a platinum trophy. Punch him in the eye. And pull out his tongue. That's 32:30 for a first run.